dare you?
Oh, a warm welcome back to all of you wonderful people out there. Now remember, just because we've got special permission to gather like this, we want to see virtual distancing rules applying. Jimmy is marshalling the lines. Single in or file in, single file please. The safe space is sanitized and it is open for business. Yes, for our PP, our pre-show chill stream. Welcome everyone. We'll be there in just a moment, but until then, I leave you with the voice of authority.
How dare you?
Come on, Jimmy. That's some good tunes we got going on there, man.
I know. I feel like I was floating unencumbered in space through the ether space, and now I'm
viewers, dude. One of our viewers, and I know you're a music guy, but a big shout out to Paddy. And he put together that little piece of music there. I really like it. The audience have taken to it, and it's definitely, every time I hear it, even if like maybe I'm putting together something in the background or getting the stream ready, I get the audio files queued up, and when that kicks in, it's like, whoa, it's like stream time, dude. It gets me in the mood, Jimmy. And I know that you're in the mood today as well, right?
I know, man. I'm in a good mood today. I mean, not for any reason in particular, just because I just decided, hey, I'm going to be in a good mood today, and boom.
You're just happy with life, man.
There you go. I'm happy to be alive, man.
You're a man of many hats as well. Now, do we read anything deeper into the hats? Maybe this is something I should actually address to the chat room, to you viewers out there. Let's just pretend Jimmy isn't here for a moment. But is there maybe like some kind of coded messaging going on with the different hat style? Maybe we need to play a little game. We need to come up with what the hats really, or absolutely have no foundation in reality, mean. We can just play that little game together, right? So, Jimmy, welcome onto the show again, man. It's good to have you here.
It's good to be here, you know. And I'll tell you, you know, it's funny because the Epic Journeyman had said that it's like when people are stuck behind enemy lines and they're trying to send out messages, and you know, in secret. So that my hats that I've been wearing, I've been sending out secret messages from deep inside of Feman Region 9. So yeah, I would say there is some decoding there for sure.
You reckon, you know, I could do that as well, Jimmy? Back when I was, oh no, people will unsubscribe when they realize I served Her Majesty in the army. But I was highly proficient. We were trained to be good at the old Morse code, right? And I could start doing that in like the intro music or something, run a piece of Morse code, and it would be something different every time. And for those that know the Morse code, they'd sit there and it'd get like an extra layer to the show.
Oh, that's cool, man. I really like that idea a lot.
You know, when we were getting taught Morse code, there was a TV show over here called Inspector Morse, right? It was huge at the time. It was at the time when you got good detective shows and you got the series running. and Inspector Morse, and there was a bit at the start of Inspector Morse. It was like Morse code right before the music kicked in, and you got the music. And our instructor at the time, he told us, you know that they tell you who done it at the start of Inspector Morse. They actually tell you in the theme music, and all of us, right, we're all sitting there going, do they? And then the next time Inspector Morse came on, you know exactly what we were all sitting there doing, right? We're all sitting there ready to take it down with our pencils and our bit of paper. It was absolute gobbledygook, man. Absolutely gobbledygook. And I bet you that guy, I bet you when he was sat at home with his family that night when Inspector Morse came on, I bet you he knew. He thought all of those bam pots right now. I'll be sitting down there writing this down. I thought it was funny. Hey, it's the simple things that make you laugh.
I know that is cool though, but you got a bunch of people to go home and get into the code and try to figure it out. So I mean, he got you guys working. So I mean, I'd say that guy's pretty smart, man.
I thought it was pretty interesting, but it's quite fascinating. You'll find this interesting, Jimmy, right? Because when you're learning Morse code, we talk about consciousness, don't we? We talk about the brain. We talk about pareidolia and the brain's need, its craving to make sense of like madness, chaos. It doesn't like chaos. It likes something it recognizes familiarity, and it's a thing when you're doing Morse code. If you get the letters T and H and then E, your brain's automatically going to fill in an R next. Right? And there's words like that. You get an A, an N, and your brain's automatically going into D mode for and. So when you're learning Morse code, what they actually teach you with is foreign languages and just absolute random crap and noise. Because that way your brain can't work ahead. Your brain can't fill in the gap because your brain sees an A and an N, it's going to D. Your brain sees a T and an E, it's going to E. You see how that can affect you when you're going at really fast speeds? So what they do is then they just break it up into random crap. And that's how you eventually end up learning Morse code. There you go. Some useless information for you.
Well, it's not useless though, because I mean, I think it's a lot of how some of these people put together some of their ideas about what's going on in the world, man, by stretching out, a bunch of different, all this noise that's going on and just pulling out some signal out of it.
Isn't that what we're doing, Jimmy? Ain't we trying to separate the signal from the noise right now?
The Kev Baker show separates the signal from the noise. That was one of the best taglines you ever had. I think that should be on a shirt, man.
Either that or I provide. And let the audience decide. And listen today, folks, this is the new thing we do on here. We do the pre-show chill stream. Some days we're going to have really big news when it comes along. Right now, we're in a bit of a slow news period. I don't know. It just seems like it's hard to find anything to talk about other than something that's going on out there. But we're going to be getting into that in a moment. But the pre-show chill stream, it's pre-show. And today, I've got Ben Emlyn-Jones on the show, one of my firm favourites. And Ben himself, he has just recovered and got over that flu. Yep, he had it. He's going to be on the show tonight. He's going to be talking about that. He's going to be talking about a whole host of other topics as well. And when Ben comes onto the show, he reminds me, Jimmy, of like, if the UK had a Fox Mulder, Ben Emlyn-Jones would be pretty much up there as my number one candidate. And I've met the guy personally, right? This is all of the X-Files type stuff, all of the UFOs. What you hear from Ben on air is what you get from Ben 24/7. He lives this kind of stuff, dude. And just such a nice, big guy. And I'm so relieved that he's got over all of his health problems. But it's one show that I look forward to every month. And when we get regular guests, you know that that's somebody that I really respect a lot. I get on with them obviously because they're coming back on. But Ben, for me, Jimmy, he's given me so much to think about over the years, the kind of topics that I love to get into. And there's one thing that I heard you talking about on your show last night with Epic that me and Ben have done an actual show on. And before we get into the people doing the funniest things, which we've got lined up for today, oh, Paul McCartney, dude. What's going on there, man? I couldn't believe it when I heard you and Epic talking about that. And I'm thinking, damn, I've got Ben Emlyn-Jones on tomorrow. And these guys don't know that. I'm just sitting here randomly lurking. I didn't say in the chat I was there. I was just listening in.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, wow, I've done a show years ago with Ben Emlyn-Jones about this very topic, man.
Yeah, fall.
Faux Paul, yeah, F-A-U-X, Faux Paul.
Oh, man. Yeah, you know, and let me just say, Ben Emlyn-Jones is really a great, great guy, and what a big-hearted person. And I just absolutely love Ben, man. And
even Facebook, right? You're on Facebook. It's social media. There's never any personal, like, griping or moaning about life, or it's just always the kind of information. He's constant, man.
That's what I mean. He's just an all-around good-hearted guy. And as far as that guy being Paul that you see around, no.
Do you think there's something to that? Do you think there is something?
There's not a doubt. Yeah, there's not a. For me, I mean, I know it's just my opinion, but just based on what I've seen, what I've done and looked at, that's not Paul. So I don't think it's Paul at all.
Yeah, somebody in the chat room, Paul McCartney, F-A-U-L. Yeah. There's certainly, I have to agree, there's certainly a lot of things in there that give me reason to think, hang on a minute. And you've got to appreciate that aside from being at the time one of the biggest bands in the world, no accident, they were very much a tool that was being used for social engineering and have broken up that quartet at that time. Places like the Tavistock Institute, they might seem totally unconnected to something like the Beatles, but they're not. And I don't think having anything affect that four really cute boys from Liverpool image that they had going on, I don't think anything was ever going to get in the way of that, Jimmy. And that's why even people could be replaced, you know? Am I getting close there? Am I warm? Am I kind of
But I think you're dead on the money, because seriously, I mean, even if you didn't put any, even if you took away what we all know about situational awareness of Tavistock and all these programs that gone on, just take that away and just look at it from a business standpoint, just from Benjamin's dollars and cents standpoint. Those guys were the biggest band in the world, selling the most records, and the worst thing that could possibly happen is to have that money flow stop. So I can't remember the cat's name that they had. I think it's Billy something. I can't remember his last name. It's Billy. It might be Billy Sheehan. I could be wrong on that. Billy something.
Rings a bell.
He wasn't even a left-handed bass player. So he had to learn how to play bass from the left-hand side on that. And plus, there's also the Dallas Gold Bug ear.
It's all in the ears, baby.
It's all in the ear, man.
You know, a lot of our viewers will never have lived through a character called Dallas Goldbug, but that was a moment in internet history, dude. That should have a chapter. When somebody writes the story of the internet or the story of YouTube, that should definitely have its own like standalone chapter.
I know.
Ed Chiarini, was that his name? Dallas
Ed Chiarini.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, he went after that guy, the dude who said he saw the underwear bomber.
Billy Shears is the name, Jimmy Hart.
Billy Shears,
but
yeah.
See, this is what's great about the chat room. And I want to give you all a big shout out, and we'll give you all a shout out before we go away. But you see, this is what we do on here. And your good friend, I think, oh no, it's Bill Murray. I was going to say Billy Ray's in there, but it's Bill Murray. Just another famous name, Jimmy. But they keep us right. You know, we're real people. We don't have all of the information at our fingertips. We don't have somebody telling us in our ears things to say or anything. So it's great. We kind of crowdsource the show as we go along. And I want to get moving in to the stuff we've got lined up today, because Jimmy's in a good mood. I'm in a good mood. We've got Ben Emlyn-Jones coming onto the show, so that means there's good woo on the way as well. He's going to be talking about Area 51. He's going to be talking about a whole host of other things. There's been more mysterious things happening with birds around the world as well, something me and Ben have spoke about before. But I want to get into this, Jimmy, and I just want to give you your chance to get your final thoughts out on Faux Paul before we move on.
Well, like I said, there's not a doubt in my mind that that's not Paul. That is Fall. And I mean, I'm pretty sure Ringo and George Harrison both came out and admitted it. They wanted to admit it and come clean before they died. So, I mean, there's a lot there. I mean, some of the album covers. I mean, I'm sure Ben has, if Ben knows about it, I'm sure he's the man. So I'll be listening later. Maybe you guys will get into it a little bit.
You know who else is really good on that?
Who?
Mark Devlin. You need to turn yourself down or something, Jimmy.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, Mark Devlin, he's got books out called Musical Truth 1 and 2. I've had Mark on my show. His level of knowledge, and he's somebody that is a DJ in the music industry, and his level of knowledge on that kind of related information, it's second to none. But folks, we're here today to kick back, chillax, ahead of the show on tfrlive.com by taking a look at people. They sure do the craziest of things. And I tell you what, Jimmy, I don't know, maybe it's everything that we're going through in the world right now. It seems to be bringing out the real craziest in people at times. Have you noticed that?
Man, people are out of their minds, dude. I mean, literally, I've never seen so much crazy activity as that I'm seeing right now. And you know what? It's human beings, man. It's what we do. We do crazy real well. You know what I mean?
I'm laughing because, I don't know, folks, we had a good laugh the other day on the stream, myself and Scotty Lopez, when we talked about that unfortunate incident where the guy went to the air show in France and taking off, it's his dream come true. He's sitting there absolutely shiting himself, man. He's like witness or experiencing, G-force like me and you out here just now. Can't even imagine. And then all of a sudden he ejected himself. Remember that story over in France? It gets worse, although I think it gets funnier in a way, because it wasn't like, I don't know, but if I was to ask the audience right now, when I was telling that story, who did you picture? Did you picture somebody maybe middle-aged like me? That's who I was thinking. Or was it somebody younger? Or in reality, I come to learn today, it was actually a bloody pensioner, Jimmy. Yeah, and it's made the weird news in the Metro. And this is a momentous moment for me, Jimmy, because you know how Joe Joseph loves all the weird stuff in the Metro? This means that we beat the Metro, dude. I beat the Metro by 2 days with weird news.
Nice.
That's very cool, man. I mean, their job is solely to find weird news, and we beat them by 2 days. Now, granted, the weekend got in the way, and there's no real weekend work on the Metro. However, we'll take it, right? And yeah, it was an old dude. There he is there. They're not showing it. I think that might be the pilot. I don't know. Who knows, Jimmy? But it shows you a picture. Look down here. There it is there. There's the old boy there. Look at him. There's the fighter pilot. Gone. That's the point there that I was telling you, folks, when he realised, holy shit, I shouldn't have pulled that. Right? Yeah, I don't know, but for people who didn't hear the story, and this is more just an update on something we spoke about recently. We've got real funny stuff to get into in a moment, don't worry. But as far as retirement gifts go, a ride on a 70 million fighter jet is up there as one of the most memorable, especially if you pull the ejector seat partway through the flight. That's very forgiving to the elderly gentleman here. It wasn't halfway through any flight, Jimmy. It was halfway through takeoff he done it. His helmet wasn't on right. His mask wasn't on right. He hadn't even put the seat on right, dude.
Oh
Old
man.
guy panics. Oh, need something to hold on to. What's this cable do? Gone. Off
Oh
he did.
man.
But what if I was to tell you that isn't the craziest story I've got for today? Because, like I say, that's old news, right? We beat the Metro. It's old news here on KBS. Oh man, oh man. I don't know what goes through some people's minds, dude, but I don't even know where to start today. We'll start with the guy who lost his girlfriend during lockdown, will we? And I don't mean like lost her as in, oh, that's a shame, you know, Undertaker type stuff. No, I mean he lost her, Jimmy. Now, where do you think he found his girlfriend? Let me ask you to guess this. Where do you think you might find your girlfriend? You're in lockdown. Bearing in mind, there's not really too many places you can go. Where are you gonna find her?
Down at Samuel L. Jackson's apartment getting a foot massage.
That would have been a good story that probably would have made today's stream. However, what if I was to tell you that no, it wasn't Samuel L. Jackson. He is totally innocent of any participation in this genius's activities. Check this out. A man discovers his girlfriend buried in a stockpile of beans in the woods, just in case this cough gets bad, Jimmy. Now, I know we shouldn't laugh at people. However, when you come across a headline like this, not very often you get the chance to really take a look at what's going on in some people's minds right now. It says here, beans may be good for your heart, but they're not always good for relationships, as Anne can testify to. So a story recently appeared on social media outlets about a couple who got into a fight over a stockpile of canned beans. Could have been worse, Jimmy. It could have been toilet paper, right?
Right.
Apparently, they couldn't agree on whether to eat them immediately or keep them buried in the woods and save it for if things get bad. But it goes on to say down here, the story was posted on Twitter, although it reportedly originally appeared on Reddit. So at that point there now, do we have to automatically then say, well, it's gone from being semi-credible to being only potentially credible? Because we know what Reddit's like.
Well, let me
Before
ask
we
you this
get into the
question now.
depths of the story, you know?
Yeah. Well, the first thing that now I haven't seen the story. I know you sent it to me. I didn't look at it yet.
Because we
And I
wanted
don't
your
know.
reaction raw.
Exactly. Raw reaction right now. So immediately what was going through my mind when I heard about the beans was that she was in the woods laying in a blue pool full of beans and just laying in there writhing in the beans naked, and that's why her husband.
I must admit, I'd pictured something a bit different. I'd pictured her, she'd almost built like some kind of end of days hideout with the cans of beans. You know what you feeling me now? And then she like camouflaged up some bushes over the top, and she's just in there waiting for the apocalypse, dude. Will we see what she really done, though? Will we see how this story looked in its initial guise, shall we? Let's have a look what it says here, right? Hello, with all that's going on, we've stockpiled on supplies, including some canned goods. Now, I ordered a few weeks ago 30 cans of beans. 10 are black beans, 10 are kidney beans, and 10 are pink beans. I like that. It's a nice diverse choice. I quite like that. There's nothing racist at all. Obviously quite a woke individual. A woke kind of prepper. Also, I ordered 15 cans of chickpeas. Nice. I thought this was reasonable amount of beans and chickpeas to have every now and then and would last for quite some time. However, last night I opened the cabinet because I wanted to make a vegetarian chili using 2 cans of beans, but all of the beans were gone. What the I asked my girlfriend and she told me she buried all of the beans in the woods. Now, at first I thought she was joking, as you would. But she explained no, she had buried the beans in the wood. What? WTF? So I asked her to explain, and she told me that she was afraid that if things get bad, we might have to worry about looters or whatever. Because I can tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, there are people out there plotting They are. They're conspiring as we speak. Yes, they are. If I can play my sound effect, it would be even better. Not the right one. Not the right one. Dang. Dang, dang, dang. Not the right one. Is it this one, Jimmy? That's the right one. So there's people plotting, remember that, and they're after your beans. So it said here, and the beans would be in danger of being stolen. I said I thought this was completely ridiculous and unlikely. Well, she became angry at me and she said, quote, "It's protecting our beans." So according to her logic, the beans are safely buried in the wood behind our apartment complex. And if we ever need some beans, she will go to the stash and dig up a can or two, but would prefer if we save them all for if, quote, things get worse. So it goes on to say, I said, why only bury the beans? Why not bury our more valuable items? She said the canned food was the most valuable for long-term means, and that since we get fresh food in our online grocery deliveries, it would make sense to stockpile the beans. She intends to go buy more beans or bury more beans in the woods every week. So this was too insane for me, and I got very upset. I demanded to know where the beans were buried, and she refused to tell me. She said if I knew she was afraid, I would dig them up. And I said, damn right I would. You got to put your foot down, Jimmy, don't you? You can't let some chick just, like, trample all over your beans. You know what I'm saying?
Well, she could at least left half of them behind for him, so she could have stashed hers and left his there.
Yeah,
you know, I don't know.
selfish. Imagine wanting to have all your beans and eat them. So she said, I will
You don't
never
want to put all your...
jeopardize the beans. No, I tell you what, though, she's very, very true to her morals. I crossed the line and said she was out of her mind. She stormed away. We have not talked since last night. I think it's completely ridiculous to bury the beans in the woods. I want to find them and dig them up. But apparently my girlfriend is taking this very seriously. How do I convince her to tell me where the beans are? And do you think I should convince her to get therapy? Or should I break up with her? So confused. Is this normal for a girlfriend to bury her beans or otherwise hide them? TLDR. I have no idea. My girlfriend buried the beans in the wood. I will not tell them where they are. Firstly, Jimmy, true or false? Think it's real?
I would say it's not beyond the pale.
It's not beyond the bean.
No, it's not. But if it was ask the old man, and it was a young man coming to me and saying, Jimmy, what do you think? You know what I'd say? I'd say, son, listen, you're just seeing the tip of the iceberg, okay? With these beans, the whole beans
You're just
issue
seeing the lid of the can, my friend. It's just the lid, literally just the lip of the can. This is nothing. It's a mountain of beans out there, Jimmy, isn't there?
That's right.
Yep.
And there's always more fish in the sea and more cans of beans at the store.
What would you do then, man? Let's do it. Right. You wake up in the morning, you roll over, you give a little kiss to your significant other. You ignore her morning breath and all that kind of things you have to do in the morning. You get up, you get ready to get down to another day of lockdown. You've maybe got a book lined up, ready to go. I don't know, whatever you're planning on doing. And then you think to yourself, well, hang on. Got a little bit of spare cash here. Maybe I'll go online, order a few more things, get them in, just in case. You go down into the basement, you go to take your inventory, as you do, my friend. And then you are met with this most hideous of sights. An entire shelf of your beans are gone, Jimmy. You go back up the stairs, you say, we've been robbed, we've been burgled. Call the police. Only to find out that that significant other that you braved the morning dragon breath for, all the pillow creases and everything else, she's taking you. What do you do, Jimmy? Do you A, go along with this absolute insanity and tell her it was a good idea? Do you B, like the guy in the story, tell her she's absolutely insane and she's got 24 hours to get your beans back? Or do you find some happy middle ground and then somehow put it to her? Somehow put it to her. Perhaps she needs some kind of therapy. What would you do?
Well, I don't know, man.
It's
This
a
is
conundrum, right? It's a conundrum. It really is.
It's like the bullhorns of a dilemma, because you're in lockdown, right? So you're in a situation. So you might have to, in other situations, you might feel upset or uptight about it and want to, go your separate ways. But in this situation, well, you might want to take a moment back and just sit back in your chair
on things,
and maybe try to use it to your advantage now, because now she's upset. She feels guilty about hiding the beans, and she feels bad. So she may just be a little bit more willing to give you a foot massage.
There you go. There you go. Like,
I mean, she just got back from Samuel L. Jackson's place. She got that foot massage. Now, she'll give you one. And you get, however many cans of beans there were. I mean, that's how many foot massages you could look out for. And, it doesn't have to be a foot massage. You could use your imagination at that point, right?
That's it, dude. That's it. In the end of the day, she's got your best interests at heart, guys, Not like she took your beer and buried that. If she takes your beer, now we crossed an invisible line, Jimmy, Beer
well,
and
then
smoke, don't be touching.
That's a horse with a different color.
It certainly is. But that was just one of, let me assure you folks, it's hard being somebody like me right now. And I say that because every day I do a show, and there's somewhat of a responsibility for me, if I'm going to go on air, to bring you something new, something cool, something I find interesting, something you'll find interesting. But there's been a real kind of, as we can imagine, the flow of information around other stories, other topics, it's in flux right now, right? And rightly so. Most people are focusing on the biggest game in town. But what I have found, Jimmy, is that there is an absolute gluttony. An absolute smattering of people doing the funniest things during this lockdown.
I know. I mean, it's literally, you should start doing a segment of up and coming rising stars of the internet, because I've seen some videos literally that when I thought of them, I was going to sleep. When I thought of it, it made me laugh. Just the visual of it. So, people are going out of their mind. Not that they're not already out of their minds. It's just that they don't have time to film themselves as much. So you're just getting to see all those idiosyncratic behaviors of people that you don't typically see.
There is that. But at this time, there's also people that they grab the moment. They're the most unlikely of, I wouldn't say celebrities, but just characters. And you just think to yourself, I like that. And this next story, I probably wouldn't be surprised if you found out that she's an avid KBS listener. I don't know, I just get the feeling that this one here, get ready folks, this is our character of the day. I like this one. I need more beer. The 93-year-old, yes, 93 years old. Big shout out to you. Woman goes viral with a message while staying home during this crazy outbreak. So I'm going to play this again from the start, folks. Take a listen to this.
A desperate plea from a 93-year-old local woman who says she's running out of supplies during the outbreak.
I like that. A desperate plea by a 93-year-old woman who's running out of supplies. Now, at that point, there's like people dropping things around the immediate area that are listening to this. They're thinking, there's a 93-year-old woman out there who's in desperate need of something.
Outbreak. She says she's running out of beer. 93-year-old Olive Veronesi held up a Coors Light can and a sign that said she needs more beer while doing her part to stay home and safe. A relative snapped this picture and posted it online. Since then, folks have been sending some brews her way.
I have a beer every night. I got some in there now. Do you want one? something to relax, you know. I think it's nice, something for a young lady.
Jimmy,
Nice.
you gotta love that, right? So
I
PA, where's
love it,
that?
man.
Pennsylvania? Is that what PA is?
Yeah,
Is
Pennsylvania.
that like Pittsburgh area? Is that right?
Yeah, Pittsburgh area. Yep.
Cool.
Pennsylvania. It's right. It's on the East Coast, kind of near, you know, everything. New York, New Jersey, all that.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So yeah,
Fancy.
you like this one, Jimmy? This was my feel-good one. I like this chick here.
Yeah, me too.
You like it?
Wow.
Pretty cool. There she is there,
Something
man.
for a young lady.
A young lady. Awesome. Awesome.
She's got good vibes, man. She's got good energy.
What I'm talking about, you know? And there is somebody that lived through the Second World War. You know, that's somebody that's lived through real hardship before, Jimmy. You know, I'm somebody that I don't think you see it quite as much nowadays, but I really do respect, like, my elders out there. I was always brought up to respect your elders, but I don't see much of that going on nowadays, right?
Yeah.
Not as much. I don't want to throw everyone, because there are still some younger ones that do, but not as much as like when we were growing up. And when you were growing up, respecting your elders would have been a good thing, right? A big thing.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, you know, we're missing a whole chunk of people. You know, we don't get a chance to experience a lot of these older people. You know, and they have lots of stories to tell. You know, I mean, you know, a lot of times you sit there and you look at somebody like her, you know, imagine all the stuff she's seen and all she's had to go through and all this. I mean, you know, and so with a lot of these people, you know, fading out of the picture, you know, dematerializing out of this space, this quantum space, we're gonna miss all those people. I mean, you know, in a way, I think, you know, with the Amish, I think it's good that there's an Amish community, because I think without them being there, that whole thing would have gone away such a long time ago. You know, and it's because they keep their old people, you know, in action all the way up until, you know, everybody stays working, because the technology doesn't change for them. And so old people stay useful longer in society. They stay out in the garden, they're doing their thing, they have a purpose in life, you know, instead of being stuffed off into some, you know, room or whatever with these drugs and stuff. So it's good to see this lady boning out with some beers, sitting back having a few.
Exactly. But, you know, don't let a lockdown get in the way of your favourite pastime. And one of the stranger headlines I've seen today, and again, Jimmy, people do the funniest of things. You know, we're coming toe-to-toe with one of the most crazy things we've had to deal with in our lifetime right now. And I get it. Some people, that they're not for the socially distancing and all the rest of it, each to their own, right? But then some people have the weirdest ways of breaking things. But I don't know, there's something just about this entire story I'm about to bring up next. It was the headline that caught me immediately. I'm sure it's going to capture everyone's attention here as well. And for a number of reasons. Just check this out. Nudists, yes, nudists, Jimmy, are warned by police to cover up, but not the usual way that nudists are told to cover up.
Mm-hmm.
They're just told to cover their mouths. So it's okay to be naked out in public right now. But just as long as you ain't breathing any of that pesky stuff in, right? Like I say, I'm just going with the headline. This is what I had to think about. I didn't scroll down. I'm thinking, now hang on a minute. Wait a minute. There's a lot wrong with this here. There's something not right going on here. Will we see what they've been up to? Will we see what they've been up to? Will we? Will we do it? Will we go raw together, Jimmy?
Well, I know immediately my sarcastic remark about it. It was definitely going to be X-rated, so I won't do that now, and I'll wait and see if I was correct, Mundo.
Lee Veltman's in the chat room. Lee, you need to change that profile picture, man. Is that who I think it is? Is that who I think it is? Lee, you need to come and hang with me and Jimmy one day. I can't think what platform would have us, but you need to come and hang with us. But let's take a look at what's been going on here, right? And by the way, Lee, if you can, I encourage you to drop a link to the channel that you appear on. We've seen the documents because I really like how you've been laying out the timeline and the characters of things that have been happening recently without tripping too many like algorithms here on the channel. Check out what Lee Veltman's up to, folks. I've known him through Facebook for ages. Spoke to him for hours one day. Good guy, and he knows the players behind the players. Let's just say that. So it says the sun's out, fun's out, but cover that face. And yes, we have two rather scantily clad individuals tanning themselves here. We've got the police with masks on.
Wearing black. Look at him. Look at him wearing black.
This is the Czech Republic, Jimmy. The Eastern European nation's nude sunbathers are being targeted by authorities for, for neglecting to cover up their mouth. Now, let me pause. How ridiculous is this, right? So, you can go out there, and by the look of that picture, I mean, let's take it for granted these two individuals live together. Okay, so socially distanced, and it doesn't really count. You're in the same house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, they've got no clothes on. They're not coming into contact with anyone. By rights, they shouldn't be near anyone. Covering the mouth, irrelevant. But say they did come close to somebody and things like that. I mean, so you're telling me the police are encouraging people to, like nudists, to wear masks, but maybe a droplet couldn't get on their skin that they need to worry about? There's just something weird about all of this. From this story, from beginning to end, there's weirdness, right?
Well, let's just say, I mean, I personally have laid naked next to the river myself, and I can't say that I would appreciate some dudes walking up all dressed in black with their nightsticks out.
They've always got black on over there, dude. That's just their uniform. Most of your cops have got black uniforms on. What are you talking about?
I know, that's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. All of a sudden, it went from the man in blue, he's there to serve and protect, to the boot stomping thugs.
Oh, no, this hasn't been all of a sudden. I mean, they've been over there wearing get up like this for a long time, dude.
Oh man,
long time.
Well, it seems like that's a little populated of an area to be laying out naked anyway, wouldn't you say?
But get this, right? Get this. Around 75 people, including opportunistic nudists. So this isn't actually a designated naked area. They've just been like opportunist naked people, right? Enjoying some fun in the fun, and Lasny Bodenik were found to be in violation of government orders to wear face masks in public. But what if it's against your, like, beliefs? What if, like, wearing clothes and garments are, like, against your moral fabric, my friend? You're an opportunistic nudist. How dare you suggest I should at least leave one covering on? You get me? You feeling me?
I hear you.
Good. I'm outraged.
How dare you?
How dare you?
It's all going wrong with the soundboard today. That's because Jimmy had me making silly voices before the show. But it says here, unfortunately, sunbathing citizens were in one place in larger numbers, and some did not have a mask. We pesky people, said policewoman Marketa Javoska, and she told local media in the spa mecca town east of Prague. Now, a nationwide emergency ordinance stipulates that while exhibitionists... Now, hang on. So, they've actually been sat there in some local government meeting, and they said, right, we need to, like, tackle the issue of, like, what naked people are going to do during all of this. Is that what went down, Jimmy? Did that actually happen? They're trying to tell me that actually happened. That's like Monty Python style government. Before we go, anyone got any final points? Yeah, me. One last point of business. Point of privilege. Jazz hands. What do my naked constituents do during this, like, crazy lockdown we're going through? Well, we've got just the plan for them. As long as they wear a face mask, Jimmy, they can have their tackly bits, their wackly bits all flying about and everything's happy, right?
Well, you can't argue with that.
You can't argue with that. But that's not the strangest story I had today. Because this is probably the strangest one. Woman cops a $5,000 fine after mooning on a tram?
What?
Exactly. Comes from Yahoo News. It's not way out there, wackadoodle land websites. I'm going to a Newcastle woman has
What
been
is
fined.
it, a full moon? Was it a full moon?
Let's find out if she had a nicely waxing moon or was it a waning one, Jimmy? So it says a Newcastle woman has been fined 5,000 large ones for allegedly. Oh, hang on a minute. Hang on.
How dare you?
Not you. We need Dr. McCairn. Paging Dr. McCairn to the ER. Paging Dr. McCairn to the ER. Because we've had a woman allegedly spitting on a paramedic twice after she reportedly mooned the city's light rail. So the 47-year-old was found wandering on Hunter Street on Saturday night, about 9 p.m. Police said she had reportedly been mooning the light rail, and concerned for her welfare, police questioned or requested assistance from NSW ambulance paramedics who arrived a short time later. Now, is this Australia? So it's New South Wales. This is actually Australia, Jimmy. We've got people mooning trams and then spitting on the paramedics who turn up to care for her. So it says while they tried to load her onto a gurney, it's alleged the woman spat at a female paramedic twice. Now, the woman was taken to hospital for assessment but was later issued a fine. New South Wales Health Minister Brad Hazard, what a great name, should have been a wrestler, said on Friday... Brad Hazard said on Friday that anyone who coughs or spits on a nurse, doctor or cleaner or any frontline healthcare worker could be fined $5,000. But Jimmy, is this more tied into the neurological aspect of what's going on right now?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
With that flu that's going around the world. Because, I'm sorry, even in Australia where people are absolutely backcrap crazy to the point of being uber cool, they don't typically go out on a Saturday night to moon the light rail. And then when people turn up to go and find out why they're mooning the light rail, usually they don't start spitting on people. That for me is behaviour that's a bit out of character for most people, right? You see, this is what happens to Jimmy, folks. I'm going to explain what happens to Jimmy right now. Sometimes he seems a bit lost. No, it's okay. Sometimes he seems a bit lost, but I know what's happened. He's too busy chatting to people in the chat room. He turns into like some kind of streaming hormone, and he's trying to gather in his cougars in the chat room and trying to garnish himself.
I was not.
You are. We had this conversation before the show. I said, Jimmy,
I wasn't.
You know, today, any chance you can join me on the stream instead of just, you know, hanging around.
You didn't bust me, man. I wasn't doing it. I mean, I wasn't doing it.
Not today.
You can scroll back. You can scroll back. I haven't been in there.
No.
I've been right here. I've been focused on you the whole time.
So,
and I'm just saying, I think that what you're seeing, this is what I was about to say before you tried to roast me right there. But,
bye, you caught me, man.
Yeah, here's what I was gonna say though. This looks a lot like what the guy you had on your show was talking about with the coughing zombies, with the the vulgarity, the spitting.
Yeah. Yep.
You know.
That's to me when I read this story today. That's what I got from it. That's the feel. Bit out of the ordinary, right? Bit kind of. Something weird going on there. I think it ties in with what McCairn is talking about. And if you haven't checked out Kevin McCairn, check him out. Yes. So, Jimmy, What's happening in the chat room today? Bring me up to date. How's the atmosphere in there? Oh, we've got Donnie in there, mooning the speed camera. So people do moon cameras over in Australia on a regular basis. We're actually finding out new information here. Maybe I'm wrong.
I know.
Maybe
I know.
this
Well,
is actually quite typical alien, like Australian behavior.
well, I think there's a whole segment of the population that's now it's probably called a community now, but it used to be a bunch of people sort of undercover. I think people kind of get off on doing that kind of thing where they, expose themselves in public or whatever. I mean, it's a whole situation. I mean, it's a
Hang
whole.
on, you've just mixed two stories altogether. I'm not talking about people exposing themselves anymore. Where did you grab that from? Well, I suppose you could call mooning as exposing yourself. Okay, then.
It
Okay,
is, and so
okay,
is being nude on the
okay.
side of the
You see
road,
in
man.
Scotland, getting your behind out. You just can't, like, that's not regarded as any form of nudity. It's letting it breathe, man. What us Scots do.
It just goes on. People don't even say anything. They just drop their drawers. Like kiss my A. Just hang down the.
Well, I have known on a few occasions a character that used to look a little like me when I was younger. Like when tourist buses and things would be going through that
Right.
village that I did grow up in. That's a fact. But this character, he only looked like me. On occasion, on occasion, Jimmy, we may have, hypothetically, bared our symmetrical cheeks to the odd tourist bus or boat or something like that. Just as a way of saying hello, hypothetically, this guy that kind of looked like me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I kind of got shocked there at you called mooning, exposing yourself. You made it sound dirty.
I know. It's all how you say it, right?
Damn, dude.
You
I was sitting there having to think, have I damaged people with what I'd done when I was younger?
Well, I don't know, but I'll tell you this. I mean, back in the 70s, they had this thing that went on called streaking, where a bunch of people would just run around naked. And it's been so long, I was thinking it would be really cool if somebody all of a sudden started to get that streaking thing going again, especially in light of what's going on. And just imagine like whole groups, like flash mobs on their phones, like hundreds of people just streaking through New York right now naked. That'd be cool, man.
That would be kind of weird.
That's a movement I could get behind.
Need to change the subject completely. Good friend of the show phoned into the show. In fact, I think she was like almost a guest for an hour on the show one day. Rachel, Maheres, I think you pronounce that. Jimmy, I'm AB negative, like you. Something we spoke about recently, dude, right?
Right.
Big time.
Well, that was a good show.
Well, I was waiting on your thoughts on it since she was speaking to you. I thought you would you would at least address your fellow EB neg person,
I didn't see what she said.
Like I say, she just claimed to be like you.
Oh, well, like I was about to say, that show that we did on the RH negative. I mean, I've met a lot of people since then who've they've introduced themselves to me, and stuff. And so it was fun, and it was a good time. I mean, AB negative is like really a very, very slim portion of that pie chunk.
Brian still at work. Testing.
Brian is still working, Sid. Yes, and it comes up on the screen. You get it read out for you. Absolutely fantastic. And yes, they may have whacked the channel. Harmful content that me and Jimmy put out there. But they haven't taken away the STREAMLABS chatbot. So if you do want to have your message read out, guaranteed, there's a link in the description. Jimmy, Ben Emlyn-Jones coming on tonight. I'm going to shift gears now.
Sweet.
Going to need your participation for just a moment. Because the other day, you mentioned a story about black goo. And me and Ben Emlyn-Jones have talked about the black goo woo before. And you had come across a video or something. I've got it queued up here. But tell us how you came across this and what we're about to see here, man. Because this is uber strange. And yes, folks, we're now moving in to the woo, the good stuff. If you're in Discord, you want something looked at really quickly, because I'll be live in half an hour. Drop it in the current live stream room. I'll go and check right now. But Jimmy, line us up, queue us up for this weird video of something that's potentially black goo woo.
Yeah, so I was scrolling at lunch the other day on one of the message boards. I noticed the story about the black goo, and but I didn't immediately go look at it. And then yesterday, when you were raking me over the coals about going to the message boards, I went back there and I dug out the black goo story, and this is what I came up with, which is this video of some black goo like material that I'm not really sure what it is, but it would definitely qualify as some black goo, man, for sure. So I don't know. What do you think about it? What did you think when you saw it? I mean, immediately it looks a little unorthodox.
Oh, big time, Jimmy. Sorry, I was just looking at the Discord there, see if there was any woo. I must admit, when we pulled this up today, this is very strange. Very strange indeed. Well worthy of us at least taking a look at. And maybe people out there might know what we're looking at. Hopefully they do. But this is, well, why hear me talk about it, Jimmy, right?
So one thing like that.
What the heck is that?
So one thing like that.
So they looped that video, but Jimmy, what the heck is that, dude?
I don't know. Somebody in the chat room said worms.
It's definitely got a wormy kind of thing to it, but if you see it, it like pulls all back in together and
something weird, man. Is that what they found on the Falklands?
I don't know. I mean, Rick, who comes in and phones the show sometimes, he talked about the fact he was in the Falklands. He's brought up the black goo before. A lot of time for Rick. I think there is something to the black goo. I've quite publicly stated I don't really buy into the expert on black goo, Harold Klaus Vela. There's multiple reasons for that. One of them is that when Ilana Freeland tried to get him to come on the Kev Baker show, he said he had Googled the Kev Baker show, and it doesn't exist. And it's not worth his time going on a show that nobody knows about. Go figure. Number two, exactly. Exactly. Number two, I think I was contacted by the guy that originally came out with the Black Goo story, David Griffith, his name is, an English researcher. Spooky Andy says that's a worm colony. There you go.
Yeah.
Could well be. Not
Who
denying
knows?
it's not, but yeah. So I was
It's
contacted,
definitely black,
right? When we were
and it's definitely...
Yeah, when we were talking about Black Goo, like on Freaky Friday, and we were getting right into it, like on a weekly basis. David Griffith, I think that's his name, he reached out to me and he said, Kev, I'll come on your show and talk about that. I was one of the original people that like started putting that together. But he says, listen, it's not the story that it's become now. It's probably not as exciting as you want. And I was thinking, well, that's a bit weird. But I went and checked out David Griffiths, and he was the original one that started like putting it together with the mysterious deaths of Marconi scientists in the UK and things going on. And since then, since that original kind of thing happened, we've had this new thing happen with Harold Klaus Vela and the Basis Project, where it's growing arms, legs, bells, whistles, It's taken on a whole host of other like things that it allegedly can do, and I say allegedly can do because these are a lot of claims to be making on a substance that you've got, but they won't show us it. And I have to wonder, well, show us the money, man. You're saying you're testing this thing, it's got all these abilities, show us it, You
know what, man? I will mention something that I've been thinking about because I don't ever remember early on in my life ever hearing about anything called black mold. There was never black mold. And then all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, there all of a sudden became this black mold that, is so dangerous that you got to have guys in like white suits and stuff come to your house and you got to pay them like 10 grand to get rid of it. So, I mean, what is this black mold? What could it be? I mean, could this be part or parcel of the black goo mystery? Is it some
but there was somebody in the chat room talking about the California sewer, where there was like a living, almost looked like a life form on the side of the sewer. It was breathing and moving, and I'm gonna try and find it. Hang on.
Yeah,
I know what the
that'd be
guy's
good.
talking. I know what they're talking about.
I almost puked when you were describing it, man. It sounds disgusting.
Oh, it is absolutely. Oh, it's unbelievable, but it. Yeah, hang on. This is like, what the heck? It's North Carolina. This comes from this one here. Check this out. Wait, watch this thing. Like, that's moving and crap, man. That's under Cameron Village in North Carolina. Sewer drain pipe creatures.
They want the link in the chat. They said if you get a chance.
Yeah, I'll put that link in the chat right now.
And that Guy Wilson in there, he said there's plenty of black mold in my early days of caving. So he must be a spelunker that goes down in these deep, dark caves. And that doesn't surprise me.
What did you call it, Jimmy?
A spelunker. That's what it. That's
yeah. I was only asking because over here, I done it was one of our adventure training in the military. We call it potholing over here. Potholing. We
call it
potholing.
Hot hole.
Pot. P-O-T. Potholing.
Oh, potholing. Yeah. I thought you said H-O-T.
Nah, potholing. And this, whoever you're talking about, I went through one of these things. They call it a cheese press, and it's like 2 plates of rock like that. But because of the like, it's wet and slimy. If you just like vibrate your shoulders, you kind of squeeze your way through like a worm, man. It's really weird. It's like another world under there. It's one of the most interesting and exciting things I've done when I was in the army. Went into the potholing. It wasn't anything. It was just like adventure training, but really glad I'd done it. It was terrifying. At times you were looking over like little ledges and you'd drop a stone. Yeah, Jimmy, no noise. Now, don't get me wrong. It wasn't big enough for you to fall down, but it's a different world under there, man. You talk about subterranean creatures and life and the ability to, maybe stuff be down there and things. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I only went for
we've got a monster of a fat.
I only went for a week doing this in North Yorkshire. I've seen one little bit of underground cave networks, and these were like tourist attractions. Like, you could go and do it for fun. You think of all the crap that's under our feet and we don't even know about it, dude.
Well, that's why I think the gray aliens look more like something that would live in like an underground situation like that where there was no light with those kind of eyes and all that. I mean, it makes sense to me. Just because they sort of have a look of like an ant, almost like an ant, you know what I mean? But I don't know. It's crazy, man, because I was there's these caves. I was staying up at a place called Cave Junction, Oregon. And while I was there in town, I was there for a while. But while I was there, they have a place over there called the Oregon Caves. The
It
cave
took them ages to
junction.
think of that, didn't it? It must have taken them hours. Must have thought, what do we call
I
this?
know. They had a whole marketing meeting around that one, and just, man, why don't we just call it the Oregon Caves? But anyways, no, I went in there and you could walk around and stuff. But I mean, just the idea of crawling into some dark, deep. I mean, some of these people, like, seriously, like, they go underwater with like diving masks and stuff. I mean, they're like, I mean, I don't know, man. To me, that's a hardcore situation to go down there in those places where you gotta
hang
squeeze
on, Jimmy. You want some, like, sorry, dude, but I have to bring you some, like, you get some comments, you're like, whoa. Now, where did that go? Ah, Rick Anderson. Minus 20 degrees Celsius to confine goo. From a guy that was in the Falklands War as a Marine on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Come on, what the hell? Whoa. That sounds like somebody that knows what they're talking about, Jimmy. How you can kind of hold that
It
stuff
does.
and get it ready for taking back to the labs at Marconi where it all went horribly wrong, you know?
Right. And so did he see did he have a chance to see the video? And that's what he was saying?
He was not, well, what we were looking at there, that video of the sewer, and I think a lot of people touched on it. Worm colonies in the sewer. It's like the same thing as you showed in your Twitter video, only it's a sewer version, and that makes sense. I can get into that. But again, if you go away from that to the real black goo woo, not to the point where your mind melts out and pours out, but that serious Falklands Islands aspect to it. I say that's the serious side to it because you have to remember that we went to war over like a bunch of rocks in the South Atlantic. Do you know what I mean?
Hey, you only got a few minutes left.
I know. No, I always go till about 1:45. I only do the radio, so I don't have to set up a stream or anything like that. I've got all my show.
Sweet. That's right. You can't.
Yeah,
you can't.
it's my pre-show stream. This is why it's the pre-show, Jimmy.
I see.
So
now
we get back
it's
to
all,
the Falklands. You know, why did we go down there? Why did we really go down there? Was it to protect that sandwich islands, as they call them? You know, or was it something to do more along with the lines with why they're called Thule Island or Thule Island? You know, the same as the bad guys in World War II, what they were into. And then it's off the coast of Argentina, where the bad guys from World War II all ended up running off to. And then you find out there's this potential black goo woo just off the coast of there. It makes you wonder why they raced down there, right? Always made me wonder. And it was a big part in me joining the army, Jimmy. Because that was like when I was like really young. I remember that task force heading down there. It was exciting. We had little action figures over here called Action Man at the time. Your G.I. Joe, I would take it. And as a young guy growing up, it was exciting as hell. Watching all the Marines and the Navy ships sailing down for a fight with Argentina. Unbeknown to me, and probably still unbeknown to most of the world, what were we really fighting over?
Well, I don't know, man, but I'll tell you one thing. It's a mystery to me, and I'll tell you one thing. You are the quantum mechanic. So I think you should open up a can of whoop and see if you can find out.
Open up a can of whoop-ass swamp worm. They look nice. Sewer worms.
Hey, sewer worms are full of protein.
I bet you they are.
I'm sure chock full of antidepressants as well.
Oh, yum, yum, yum. I bet you Burger King will be offering you a sewer burger. The impossible sewer burger.
Full of protein, and hey, you don't have to take any of your prescription drugs because it's all in there.
And
don't
look
worry.
at that. It even crawls its way onto your own burger bun.
Oh my God, man, it's rank. I bet it smells worse than when someone, when you smell a rat. Well, I bet it's worse than that.
Jimmy, at this point, with 15 minutes until showtime, this is where I do start to look forward to 15 minutes from now when I'll be on TFRlive.com with Ben Emlyn-Jones. And Spooky Andy has been asking me on Skype, I just seen it, is Jimmy AB negative?
Yeah.
There he is. Yes, he is. There you go.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We've done a show on that one. But I will be joined by Ben Emlyn-Jones real soon. And he has just got over pesky cough. He's just recovered from the flu. So we'll be getting his first-hand take on what that was like. And then we're going to be looking at what they're doing at Area 51. We're going to be getting into some woo. We're going to be getting into all the stuff that me and Ben usually get into. And then tomorrow night on the Kev Baker Show, hopefully Jimmy might be around for the pre-show stream, but I don't know. You know, maybe he's got plans.
No, I'm good. I'll be here.
On the radio show tomorrow, I'm going to be talking about some of the stuff that's going on in the world right now. That's all I'm going to say there. You might want to be there for that. It's going to be one of those shows where, well, if people had been listening to the people that come on the Kev Baker Show, you would know exactly what's going on right now. That type of show. That's what it's going to be tomorrow night. We're going to be talking about some of the stuff now that's now coming out that confirms a lot of the stuff we've talked about in the past on a number of topics. So maybe Jimmy will be there for that as well. But regardless, I urge you all to check out the TFR live chat today. If not, you can go to the TFR live stream here on YouTube. I think it's called TFR Live. If you search for that, I think you'll find the YouTube live stream. It's got its own chat room there, so you can all chat in there. I'll try and open up that chat room so I can see what you're all saying. Can't promise, but I'll try. And Jimmy, any last thoughts before we wrap up our pre-show chill stream and I head for the invisible land?
Paul is dead.
Go, Paul.
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 Paul is dead.
Paul McCartney. I'll be bringing this up with Ben tonight since we've done a show on it before. But
It's all in the ear.
maybe tomorrow when we do our pre-show stream, we might be on the Kev Baker Show 2 channel. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to drop a link to that in the chat room. So you can all get subscribed to the backup channel. Wait till I get it here. Where are we? There it is, Jimmy. There it is.
There you go.
There it is. I'll drop this in the chat room here. Keep an eye on that stream there, that channel, because we're going to be doing more content on there. We're going to be doing more streams, and there may be a really, really good chance that while we're waiting for our 150 plus memberships to get reactivated on this channel, we may just be able to head on to the back channel and get memberships on there. Can't say. Maybe I've got some inside info, but maybe, just maybe we might get memberships on there. So, Jimmy, tomorrow we will be appearing on the not brand new, it's been there for a while, but the Kev Baker Show 2 YouTube channel. It's in the chat room. I urge you all to sign up to that. There's going to be uploaded videos going on to there as well, pre-recorded. And I'll be over on tfrlive.com 10 minutes from now. The ads will be on and I'll be getting ready with today's guest. Maybe Jimmy will join me. I don't know. Maybe he's got stuff to do. Who knows? But I'll be back tomorrow regardless with our pre-show chill stream. Okay?
I'll be here.
You be here, Jimmy? Yeah.
There's not a doubt.
There you go. You'll be here. I'll be here. Neither of us are queer, but we'll definitely be here. So until tomorrow, Jimmy, any final thoughts?
Wherever you are, keep it KBS.
Yes, indeed. Keep your mind open. Keep looking for the woo, but not to the point where your brain turns to black goo. And remember, head on over. You'll catch me on the radio 10 minutes from now. Who knows, maybe I'll be live again after that. But folks, I want to thank you all for being here today. It means the world to me. 200 odd people there. towards the end of the show. You lot absolutely rock. We're kicking it back during the lockdown. We're keeping it fun. We're giving you something to take your mind off everything going on in the world out there. And I urge you, join me over on the KBS radio show in just a moment. And I'll be getting into a whole lot more of all of this and a whole lot more woo with Ben Emlyn-Jones, the hospital porter, against the New World Order. Oh, dang. I can't think of a better time to have Big Ben on. I can't think of a better bunch of people to be hanging out with. Jimmy, all of you out there, stay safe. I'll be back real soon. If you can't join me on the main show, I'll be back tomorrow with Jimmy for our pre-show fun. Until then, again, you're having it. Keep your mind open. Keep looking for the woo, but not to the point where your brain turns to black goo.